Hello, this is Yogeshwar again, and I'm back with another interesting topic. And today's topic of discussion is how important is the ascendant in regards to analyzing a chart. Now, there are various astrologers who give importance more to the Chandra Lagna or where the moon is placed, and they draw a chart from where the moon is placed and they analyze the chart based on that. And there are certain astrologers who give more importance to the Surya Lagna, which is where the where the sun is placed, and then they draw the chart and analyze a chart based on that. And then, of course, Sage Parashara has described about Sudarshan Chakra. For people who have not seen my video on Sudarshan Chakra, I would recommend go and watch that. That'll explain about a concept of Sudarshan Chakra where a chart is analyzed from all the three angles, meaning which the ascendant, the moon lagna or where the moon is placed, or and the sun lagna or where the sun is placed in the chart. And you will, once you see that video, you will understand what I'm talking about. And then there is a Sudarshan Dasha also, which is associated with a Sudarshan Chakra. But anyways, today's discussion will be getting into a little more detail what Sage Parashara has described as to how each house or the signification of that house has to be determined. How important is ascendant in that? How important is the sun is in that? And how important are other planets? And you'll be surprised to know that there are rules given by Sage Parashara which not even involves just the ascendant and the sun and the moon, where the sun and moon are placed, but he gives importance to other planets as well. And today's topic of discussion is going to be discussing that part in a little more detail. So what Sage Parashara has described, and like I said earlier also in my earlier videos, that these videos are designed to make sure that we go back into the basics and we see what the ancient scriptures have described, what the ancient sages have said in reference to our analysis of birth charts as compared to the so-called astrologers of today's world who come up with their own concocted version of Western and and Vedic, and we have to protect ourselves from such astrologers. We have to go down into the basics and see what the ancient sages have actually said. And if an astrologer makes a claim of certain thing, we have to question that astrologer. Okay, where did you get that? Which sage has said that? Which ancient scripture describes that? So anyways, today we will be discussing how important is the ascendant in determination or analyzing a chart. But Sage Parashara, for example, he has described that the ninth house, as we have already discussed in our earlier videos, that the ninth house talks about the father. And Sage Parashara says that yes, the ninth house from the ascendant describes about the father. But do not just analyze a chart from the ascendant in regards to your father through the ninth house only. He has said sun also is a significator, or sun also signifies rather father. So what you have to do is determine the ninth house not just from the ascendant but read it from the sun as well, because sun signifies father. So these are little things in detail which Sage Parashara has described. So a lot of astrologers or a lot of people will just look at the birth chart, see the ascendant, ninth house, boom, that'll talk about the father. No, Sage Parashara said no. Ninth house or the father has to be ascertained or to be analyzed ninth from the ascendant as well as ninth from where the sun is placed in the birth chart. And then we have to come up with a conclusion based on these two determinations. So that is just one example. Like for example, for progeny, another example is what Sage Parashara has described. For progeny, do not just look at the fifth house from the ascendant. look at the fifth house from Jupiter as well, because Jupiter signifies progeny. So, so here there are certain rules, and if you look at it in practical terms, if you look and analyze a birth chart, you will be more accurate if you follow these rules, which are prescribed by Sage Parashara. So, like I've already mentioned, father has to be considered both from the lagna or the ascendant, and also ninth from the sun. So father has to be considered ninth from the ascendant and ninth from the sun. Similarly, 11th from the lagna, and 11th house, as we know, means income. It's a house of incomes and gains. So what we have to do is that, as per the Sage Parashara rules, the 11th house from the ascendant has to be seen for gains. However, it also has to be seen from moon, from where the moon is placed. So 11th from the moon is also going to explain us about gains, about elder siblings, friends, etc., etc. Now, another rule which Sage Parashara has described is for general luck, because ninth house also determines luck and fortunes. Sage Parashara has said through his shlokas, Sanskrit shlokas, that the religious activities, general luck, which is determined by the ninth house, has to be looked not just from the ascendant but also from the moon. So please remember that ninth house determines father, and for father, Sage Parashara has said that look at the determination of father through the ninth house from the ascendant and the ninth house from the sun, because sun signifies father. Now he goes again to explain the ninth house also represents general luck and religion. So for that he has said, for general luck and religion, look at the ascendant, look at the ninth house from the ascendant and determine it. But at the same time, look at the ninth house from the moon as well for general fortunes and luck and religion. So he's made a little differential here related to the ninth house. I hope I'm clear here. For father, look at it from sun as well, and for general luck, look at it from moon as well, along with the ascendant. Similarly, another rule which he has given is that for co-borns, for courage, we know the house is the third house, which has been explained by Sage Parashara. We all know that. The third house represents courage and co-borns. However, Sage Parashara has given a rule that when you're analyzing a chart, look at the co-borns and courage through the third house from the ascendant, which he has already said that. However, also look at the third house from Mars for co-borns and courage. Because why? Mars represents co-borns and courage as well. Mars signifies courage. So he says, look at it from both sides. Don't just look at it from the ascendant. And these are all coming from Sage Parashara's shlokas. I'm not making this up. Like I said, these videos are designed so that we go into the basics and see what the sages and the scriptures have said. Similarly, Sage Parashara has explained that for diseases, deaths, enemies, and we know that the sixth house represents diseases, deaths, and enemies. So Sage Parashara, through his shlokas, has explained that look at the sixth house from the ascendant for diseases, deaths, and enemies. However, look at it from where Mercury is placed. So go to the sixth house from where Mercury is placed in the birth chart and make a determination of diseases, deaths, and enemies along with the sixth house from the ascendant. So both these factors have to be taken into consideration. And I've already explained to you about Jupiter, that for progeny it has to be looked fifth house from the ascendant, and also fifth house from Jupiter, because Jupiter signifies progeny. Similarly, Sage Parashara has explained that mother, which is represented by the fourth house, has to be looked fourth from the Lagna, which is the ascendant, and also from the moon as well. So look at the Lagna, go to the fourth house, make a determination about mother related things, and go to the moon where moon is placed, and go to the fourth house from where moon is sitting, and then make a determination related to mother. So both these factors have to be taken into consideration as per Sage Parashara. Why? Because moon represents mother. 10th from the Lagna has to be correlated with the paternal rights as per Sage Parashara. However, 10th from the sun has to be looked at for paternal rights as well. So both these factors have to be taken into consideration. Now, as far as the physical happiness is concerned, we know that the Lagna or the ascendant is extremely important. So Sage Parashara has said, look at your physical strength from the ascendant, because that's what the ascendant specifies or signifies, the physical strength, the ascendant or the Lagna. However, look at it from the moon as well. So here he has given importance to the moon as far as the physical strength is concerned. So look at, just don't make a determination based on the ascendant. If the ascendant looks weak, some astrologers may make a mistake saying that, okay, well, the person will not have physical strength. No, look at it from moon as well. And Sage Parashara has very specifically and very clearly explained this. So he has different rules for different houses and how these determinations have to be made, and we have to be very careful, otherwise our predictions can go extremely wrong. Now, another very important thing which he has mentioned, the seventh house, as we know, signifies the spouse. So he says, Sage Parashara says, that for spouse matters, look at the seventh house from the ascendant. That's one. However, look at the seventh house from Venus as well, because Venus signifies marriage. So don't make a determination just seventh house from the ascendant. Look at it from seventh house from the planet Venus, because Venus is about marriage. Now for death, and we know that death is a very important matter for all of us. We are very concerned about our general longevity. So he says, for longevity, look at the eighth house from the ascendant, as what he has explained, that eighth house represents longevity. So he's very clear. Look at the eighth house for longevity from the ascendant. However, also look at the eighth house from Saturn's place, because Saturn means longevity and even death. So just don't make a determination on death or longevity from the eighth house. Look at where Saturn is placed, go to the eighth house from where Saturn is placed, and then make a determination. Similarly, he has said that 12th from the Lagna or the ascendant means also, to some extent, hospitalizations and death matters and tough situations. So look at it from the ascendant, 12th from the ascendant, but also look at it from Saturn itself, because Saturn signifies hospitalization, and it's also significator. It's a significator of the 12th house as well. So look at the 12th house matters both from the ascendant and from Saturn. Very, very, very crucial, very important. A lot of astrologers make mistakes and their predictions go wrong because they don't look at these factors. They look at the factors only from Lagna and not from the planet, which signifies that particular house or area. So this was, friends, a little discussion about how we can be a little more accurate, how important is ascendant as far as our predictions or our determination or analysis is concerned. And hopefully you enjoyed this, and I will see you soon in another video. In the meanwhile, I'll recommend subscribe to my channel and check out my website. There's a link below, and good luck to you.